Maimori was a walking L, ugly, no game, no girl, no claps. His class got Isekai'd, but he pulled the weakest skills, so the goddess yeeted him into the ruins. Everyone laughed at him, until he soloed every monster, hit god-tier power, and built a harem with a fine elf and monster baddies. Maimori was lost in memories of his abusive childhood, where his father beat him while his mother ignored it. Snapping out of his thoughts, he noticed Oyamada, the class bully, mocking Sogu for bringing a romance novel on the trip. No one, not even the teachers, intervened. Maimori hesitated but ultimately told Oyamada to return the book. Oyamada mocked him, comparing him to Andrew Tate from Temu, and the class laughed. However, Takuto, the most respected student, told Oyamada to return the book, which he did immediately. The girls admired Takuto, while Oyamada tried to save face by teasing Yasu. The teacher finally told him to shut up. Just as everything settled, Maimori saw a flash of lightning and heard a woman's voice before a sudden light engulfed the bus. The students found themselves in a different world, greeted by the goddess Vicious. She explained that 200 years ago, the demon emperor wreaked havoc, but heroes from another world defeated him. Now he had returned and she needed new heroes. Takuto asked if they were expected to fight the demon lord, and Vicious confirmed. She explained that they could return home by either defeating the demon lord and taking his heart or absorbing his power into a necklace. Sobu questioned how they could fight without powers, so Vicious demonstrated her fire magic and assured them they possessed hidden abilities. A ranking ceremony began with a crystal globe that measured each student's potential. Oyamada was ranked A, while Takuto shattered the globe, revealing he was an S-rank hero. Sobu also broke the globe, compressing the goddess. Yasu's turn revealed dark magic, reminiscent of a powerful dark hero from the past. However, when Maimori touched the globe, it barely reacted. Confused, he asked what it meant, but Vicious ignored him. Checking his stats, he found himself at level 1 with an abnormal poisoning skill. As the excitement faded, Oyamada grew restless and insulted the teacher, who was only an E rank. Vicious then announced a ritual and called Maimori forward. Confused, he was shoved into a magic circle. The goddess declared that abnormal heroes were a hindrance and must be exiled. Maimori panicked, but Takuto and the others told him to accept his fate. Even Sobu was knocked out when she tried to defend him. Yasu, who had once helped Maimori, cruelly told him to get lost. Betrayed, Maimori cursed the goddess, angering her enough to banish him to the abandoned ruins. In the ruins, Maimori activated a mana bag for light, but was immediately attacked by an acidic minotaur. He barely dodged and ran, only to trip and fall. Haunted by his classmates' words, he resolved to survive. Using his paralyzing skill, he stopped the minotaur. Realizing his abilities still worked, he continued deeper into the ruins. When a venomous plant attacked, he paralyzed and poisoned it. However, the minotaur recovered. Instead of despairing, Maimori smirked. His dark side had awakened, and he was ready to take revenge. Maimori is on the brink of death, drained of mana, with only his body's natural reserves left. He tries to paralyze the Minotaur again, but learns he can't use the same spell twice on the same target. Dodging its attacks, he successfully puts it to sleep and poisons it. Just as he thinks he's safe, more monsters show up, and he's nearly out of mana. Determined to fight until the end, he keeps paralyzing enemies, but there are too many. His vision blurs, but he pushes forward until his body finally gives out. Then something insane happens. A poison plant dies, skyrocketing Maimori from level 1 to 258. His mana and health are restored, making him stronger than ever. Realizing he can survive this death trap, he paralyzes and poisons the remaining monsters, increasing his skills. As they die, he levels up even further. When the surviving monsters see what's happening, they panic and flee. Relieved, he finds a fallen hero's corpse and takes a robe and knife. Starving, he attempts to eat the Minotaur but fails. Its flesh is too tough, and its eye is acidic. Desperate, he notices his mana bag changing color. Pouring mana into it, he summons food, Coca-Cola, and beef jerky. Devouring it like a madman, he regains his strength and continues leveling up. Days later, Maimori, now absurdly powerful, fights massive Godzilla-like lizards while lounging on a dragon. He recalls how his aunt and uncle took him in to make him a better person. But after killing so many enemies, he feels no remorse. While exploring, he finds a strange room unlike the rest of the ruins. Inside, he discovers a gemstone that, when infused with mana, reveals two skeletons holding hands, fallen heroes. He takes their gem bags, then enters another room that drains even more mana. Inside lies the corpse of Anglin, the strongest dark hero, betrayed by Vicious. Furious, Maimori seeks greater power to take revenge. He finds a forbidden magic scroll in a book. Though he can't read the scroll, the blood-stained pages of the book tell of the Soul Eater, the ruins ruler responsible for all the deaths. Finding the exit, Maimori sees that it requires a massive gem, which he realizes is on the Soul Eater's forehead. As he approaches, a beam pierces his hand. He can't use magic until he fully reveals himself. Meanwhile, outside, a girl is seen running from something. The Soul Eater emerges, summoning half-dead humans with their last terrified expressions. Maimori hesitates. He can't bring himself to kill humans, and the Soul Eater revels in his despair. But Maimori was only pretending. He paralyzes them all, mocking the creature for letting his guard down. Then he poisons everything in sight, killing the Soul Eater. and freeing the trapped souls of fallen heroes. As their spirits thank him, the Dark Hero's soul appears, requesting Maimori to take down Vicious. Maimori agrees, rips the gem from the Soul Eater's head, and finally opens the gate to the outside world. Esquada keeps grinding at the goddess's turf. Oyamada's out here chasing a wolf like a headless chicken, while Takuto's flexing with his Flame Buster, leveling up to 18, which is still trash compared to Maimori. Yasu's vibing with his dark magic, but Kobato, she's struggling. She's stuck with Asaji's crew, and Asagi straight up tells her their squad's full of selfish clowns. Takuto's crew won't take weaklings, and the sister duo does their own thing. If Kobato doesn't roll with Asaji's team, she's getting left behind just like Maimori. Asagi makes it clear, either she joins or she's out. To drive the point home, Du grabs a grenade. No choice but to fall in line. She gets a prove yourself moment by taking out some weak monster. She pulls it off, but it messes with her head. She remembers how Maimori once saved a kitten when she couldn't. The guilt hits hard and she breaks down. Elsewhere, Soga wakes up, still hurting from that goddess's punch. She thinks of Maimori, but knows she's not strong enough to back him up yet. She storms up to the goddess, who fakes some tears and spits out some nonsense about how the kingdom ditches weaklings. Turns out, while Soga was out cold, they dumped all the useless hunters into some abandoned ruins. Soga's pissed. She calls out the goddess's twisted logic, but Vicious, acting all smug, shrugs it off. She claims she's merciful, but won't go against the kingdom's rules. Soga throws down an offer, bring back the exiled heroes, and she'll make up for their weaknesses. Vicious, always down for a shady deal, agrees. As the golem wreaks havoc, Grace tells Anna to run, but Anna gets stuck because her magic circle won't move closer to her. Kenzaburo quick dips in front of Anna and uses the pause alphabet to freeze the golem. Stop. His swift actions save the cloud harm. Back at Grace's home, her maid Joe's checks on the sudden change in Grace's behavior. She overhears maids whispering that Grace is secretly planning to fire them. Josette, nervous because of her own clumsy worries about her future. While she to Grace, she accidentally breaks the teapot for harsh punishment. However, to her surprise, shows genuine concern for Josette's being, which leaves Joe stunned and confused by the kindness. Josette, overwhelmed with worry, fears to Grace, begging her not to sell her off to some place. Kenzaburo, tapping instincts, quickly understands that Josette's distress stems from confidence in herself and Grace. Using the need to reassure her, Kenzaburo uses his experience to calm Josette down, gently showing her kindness. His approach helps Josette feel more confident in both herself and her place with Grace. Once Josette is calm, Grace takes her to see Meister Waltz to have the broken teapot fixed. As they are at Waltz's cabin, asks him politely if he can fix the pot. Waltz, taken by Grace's shift in demeanor, corrects her, noticing the change in how she's speaking. And rude, condescending Grace of the best, it's Kenzaburo's influence has led her to speak with respect and politeness. In no time at all, Waltz expertly repairs the teapot. He expresses his excitement at seeing Grace in his cabin again, remarking that it's been quite some time since visit. Kenzaburo reflects on Grace's childhood, recalling that she was once a energetic child. However, due to the immense pressure from her family, she gradually became cold and strict, ultimately falling into the role of the villainess in this world. Feeling sympathy for Grace, Kenzaburo asks Waltz if Grace can visit him again sometime. Understanding the importance of the request, happily tells her that she's always welcome and should come by whenever she likes. Full exchange begins to show Grace a different path, one where she may rediscover a part of herself that had long buried under the weight of her family's expectations. For Kenzaburo, this marks the beginning of his Grace break free from the villainous persona and find her way back to the oneness she once had. Episode 3. Kenzaburo introduces the student council member. Each one has been carefully chosen by the council president. He then looks at Anna and mentions that she was selected because of Grace's background and status. Grace, holding her face, reads the names of the council members listed on it, helping Kenzaburo remember everyone's names since he struggles with his memory. He goes on to explain that the school is for aristocrats, meaning all of Anna's potential love interests will rise to high-ranking positions. Of these, one of them will be the most suitable match for Anna. Kenzaburo says that the main characters in the game have unique hairstyles compared to others, and asks Anna how she feels about people with luxurious hair. Anna, lost in thought, is distracted by Grace's long, curly hair behind her. She shyly explains that she admires people with beautiful hair. Kenzaburo, not realizing the misunderstanding, thinks Anna is one of the council members, while Anna is secretly wondering what Grace uses in her hair to make it look so stunning. Kenzaburo recalls a conversation he had with his daughter, remembering that the prince's route was most difficult for Anna. He can somehow end up with the prince, so she will have a bright. Later in the student council room, the girls are working on the finance papers with the prince watching. Grace, expertly using an abacus for her calculations, something Kenzaburo is also good at, completes her work quickly. Anna, working by hand, makes a mistake and asks to help her find it. Grace effortlessly uses the abacus to rectify the error, surprising both Anna and the prince. The prince, intrigued, asks how Grace was able to find it so fast. Grace tries to downplay it, giving a vague excuse about accidentally stumbling upon the method in the library, but the prince isn't convinced by her answer. Kenzaburo watches Grace's behavior and quickly realizes she spent a lot of time practicing math and has become an expert about her shift, and he gets a little shy, impressed by how talented and humble she is, especially considering she's his. Ceres jolts awake, panicking that she overslept, but she spots Maimori and Pigimaru chilling nearby. Maimori fakes being asleep for a second, then gets up, and they head out to face the final boss. They step into the king's chamber only to find it completely empty. That's when the Skeleton King shows up, radiating pure menace. Maimori instantly knows this thing ain't weak. Ceres pinpoints its weak spot and insists on taking it down herself, summoning her enchanted gear. She tells Maimori to run if things go sideways. But before the monster even gets a chance to attack, Maimori paralyzes it and knocks it out permanently with poison. Ceres just stands there, stunned by how powerful he really is. Maimori snatches the king's bone, ready to bounce, but Pigimaru picks up on something weird. Maimori digs around and finds a strange egg. Meanwhile, back with his classmates, they're struggling against skeleton knights except for Sobu, Oemata, and Takuto, who make quick work of them. Takuto flexes hard, hitting level 24, officially the strongest among the heroes. Outside, adventurers lose their minds when Ceres walks out with the dragon eye cup. While everyone's distracted, Maimori dips quietly. Ceres catches up, all hyped about getting a reward from the king tomorrow. Maimori casually asks if she's free till then and invites her to his room at 8 p.m. Later that night, Maimori's whipping up a strength-boosting meal for Pigimaru when Ceres knocks on his door. He gets straight to business, offering her a job as his escort since he's heading to the Golden Demon Zone. Turns out, she's already planning to go to the Janto state, so she agrees to tag along. Then Maimori calls her by her real name, and without thinking, she reacts, exposing her true identity. He admits he used a sleek skill to confirm it, but instead of freaking out, she decides to trust him. She reveals her true form, and Maimori does the same. They shake on it, officially teaming up. He pays her with a rare blue dragon stone, which almost makes her pass out from shock, but he doesn't let her argue. While soaking in a bath, Ceres catches herself thinking about Maimori, realizing she actually wants to stay by his side. The next morning, adventurers start gossiping about them over breakfast, but Maimori tells her to ignore the noise. He asks about forbidden spells, and she explains that the goddess Vicious banned them, probably because some could actually mess her up. Maimori locks the info away for later. After eating, Ceres heads off for her royal audience, promising to be back by 1 p.m. Maimori takes Pigimaru to the forest for training. Meanwhile, Vicious grills Sogu about the Skeleton Knights. Sogu, still worried about her friend Sakura, refuses to join Takuto's squad. Vicious, fake smiling, warns her that rejecting the team is causing problems, and that the king has ordered weaklings to be removed. Sobu leaves, and Vicious throws in a petty insult on her way out. Maimori, waiting for Ceres, overhears some guys talking about the holy knight who brought back the demon cup. Then Ceres jolts awake, panicking that she overslept, but she's Maimori and Pigimaru chilling nearby. Maimori fakes sleep for a second, then gets up, and they head out to face the final boss. They king's chamber only to find it complete. That's when the Skeleton King shows up, radiating pure menace. Maimori instantly knowing ain't weak. Ceres pinpoints its weak spot and insists on taking it herself, summoning her enchanted gear. She tells Maimori to run sideways, but before the monster even gets a chance to it and knocks it out permanently with poison. Ceres just stands there, stunned by how powerful he really is. Maimori snatches the king's bone, ready to bounce, but Pigimaru picks up on something weird. Maimori digs around and finds a strange. Meanwhile, back with his classmates, struggling against skeleton knights except for Sobu, Oemata, and Takuto, who make quick work of them. Takuto is hard, hitting level 24, officially the strongest among heroes. Outside, adventurers lose their minds when Ceres walks out with the drag cup. While everyone's distracted, Maimori dips quietly. Ceres catches up, all hyped about getting a reward from the king tomorrow. Maimori asks if she's free till then and invites her to his room at 8 p.m. Later that night, Maimori's up a strength-boosting meal for Pigimaru when Ceres knocks on his door. He gets straight to business, off job as his escort since he's heading to the Golden Demon Zone. She's already planning to go to the Janto state, so she agrees to tag along. Then Maimori calls her by her real name, and thinking, she reacts, exposing her true identity. He admits he used a sleek skill to confirm. Maimori reveals something shocking. He is actually a hero from another world. Everyone, including Ceres, is stunned. He explains that the goddess gave him a different path, one that lets him surpass all other heroes and escape her control, as long as he survives the ruins. Siva demands to know his real goal. Maimori answers without hesitation. He wants Siva to let him go for now, but he promises to return and defeat him once he is stronger. Siva finds it amusing and agrees, but he still plans to get rid of Ceres. Maimori refuses it, saying he needs Ceres to guide him to the Golden Demon Zone. He tells Siva she is just a tool for his power. Siva accepts this, but Oben protests. However, one sharp glare from Siva is enough to silence him. The Dragon Knights smirk, unaware that they have already fallen into Maimori's trap. His spell weakens them in an instant, making their bodies collapse to the ground. Civet reacts fast, but still gets caught. Without wasting time, Maimori drains their strength, watching as they struggle in pain. Even though Civet fights against the spell, his movements only make his condition worse. More enemies arrive, a squad of dragons rushing in to help the knights. But Maimori is ready. He uses the demon-strengthening meal from the Skeleton King and fuses it with Pigimaru. Tentacles extend from his body, spreading his magic like a powerful curse. One by one, the knights fall, unable to withstand his power. In the end, only Civet is left standing. He tries to resist, but soon collapses like the rest. Ceres, overwhelmed, thanks Maimori, realizing that he reminds her of her kind aunt. She warns him about the hero hunter, but Maimori has already dealt with that problem. Now only the goddess stands in his way. At night, Ceres kneels not to surrender, but to show gratitude. She tells Maimori she owes him her life. Maimori, knowing how these things usually go, makes his next move. He asks if he can use her power to become stronger. Without hesitation, Ceres agrees to help him in any way she can. Soldiers arrive at the abandoned ruins and find a necklace. One of them asks if they should report it to the alien kingdom, but the leader shuts him down. No one survives the ruins, and as far as they're concerned, they see nothing. Meanwhile, Maimori drifts through a lively festival, grabbing a mask from a shopkeeper. The old man tells him it once belonged to the Fly King, a legend from the demonic era. In their room, Ceres wonders if Maimori plans to make a move on her, but she knows their mission comes first. For now, she'll protect him. Maimori, slipping on the mask, thinks of the goddess with the massive divine gifts and swears to take her down, but only after a proper battle. In the Magna Kingdom, the court is shaken by the news of the Dragon Knight's defeat. King Sigmus demands answers. Rose's King Jin confirms that humanity's strongest warriors are truly gone. Vicious suggests Ceres Ashrain might be the one responsible, but a pool of blood and her torn cloak make it seem like she perished as well. Another king mentions Ortora of Nea also passed away last night, but Sigmus couldn't care less about the old man. Before they can settle on anything, a guard rushes in. Shinto, a group from Urza, claims responsibility for the Dragon Knight's downfall. Back in the capital, Maimori and Ceres come across a coliseum where mercenaries battle for fame. Maimori finds it intriguing, but decides to focus on other matters first. They head to a hotel, where Ceres suggests they share a room to save money. Maimori stares at her with soulless exhaustion, declaring himself a seasoned pro in the art of romance. Ceres blushes, thinking this might be her moment, but instead, he simply takes her to dinner. The hall is filled with whispers about the Dragon Knight's fate. Shinto's members stroll in like they own the place, but Maimori writes them off as background noise. At a nearby table, two men quietly discuss the Forbidden Witch. Maimori slides over, buys them drinks, and gathers intel. The Blood Fighter, the only person who has ever met the witch, is somewhere around the Colosseum. Right then, a mutant-looking girl with big boss energy shows up. The men whisper, "Eve, the Blood Fighter." Maimori acts casual, fishing for info, but Eve plays dumb. He calls himself a scholar heading to the Golden Demon Zone, but Eve warns him it's not a playground. She leaves, and Ceres, ever sharp, sees through the act. Eve knows something. Later, Maimori remembers he forgot Pigimaru's food and casually summons it from his magic bag. Ceres tries it but feels seduced by the taste. Maimori, amused, reminds himself to focus on revenge. Meanwhile, Eve meets a little girl, promising to free her soon. Ceres starts training, and Maimori is hooked on her technique. She offers mentorship, but when he attacks, she counters his hand caught, her melons pressing against him. She apologizes for being a sweaty elf. He accepts his fate. Later, Ceres washes their clothes and, caught up in the moment, gives Maimori's shirt a sniff. Just as she's enjoying the forbidden aroma, Maimori appears. She panics, but he sees nothing. At night, Maimori lies awake, wondering if Ceres is too kind for this world. She hears him stirring and offers medicinal herbs for sleep, but accidentally gives him the wrong dose. His temptations flare up. Ceres, flustered, asks if he can resist. Maimori deadpans as revenge comes first. By morning, Ceres gathers intel. Eve has ruled the Colosseum for 3 years. She should have bought her freedom by now. But there's a catch. A kid is involved, and Eve is trying to buy her back. Fighters who reach their final match often die because the Colosseum's king doesn't want blood champions gaining an advantage. Looks like things are about to get messy. Maimori knows the Duke won't just let Eve and the kid walk free. That bastard's got murder on his mind. Ceres asks if they should wreck his plan tomorrow, but Maimori ain't about to wait. He calls Eve into a dark alley, but she plays dumb about the Forbidden Witch. Maimori lays it out. Duke's planning to offer in the match. Eve ain't buying it. When Maimori suggests they snatch the kid Liz, Eve nearly decks him, swearing she'll beat his if he even tries. Maimori backs off but wonders why she's still in the capital. Eve explains she can't just run. The Duke's got mercs on standby. She appreciates the heads up, but she's still fighting. Maimori convinces her by flexing. He's the one who took down the Dragon Knights and killed the Skeleton King. Eve laughs it off, so Maimori drops his paralyzing skill on her. Ceres steps in, revealing her true identity, and Eve finally takes them seriously. Maimori apologizes for coming off strong, but tells her if she's fighting, she better be ready to leave after. As they head out, they see a bunch of Ashen sorcerers harassing some poor girl. Ceres is about to step in, but Maimori blinds the bastards and goes full berserker on them. Meanwhile, Eve's trying to sleep, but the Duke's betrayal won't let her rest. She sneaks to his room and hears him plotting he's gonna slip poison into her drink and sell her damn skin to the winner. His assistant asks about Liz and the Duke chuckles, saying she's better kept around till she matures. Eve's blood boils, but she holds back. As she sneaks off, the leader of the Ashen gang smugly wishes her luck for the fight. That's it, she's out. She rushes to the city gates, expecting Maimori's gone, but he shows up with Ceres, ready to bust Liz out. Over at the shop, Liz is working her ass off when a drunk creep tries to grab her. She resists, but the old hag running the place steps in, not to help, but to make it worse. She beats Liz, playing the victim like she's the one suffering. Knowing elves are sensitive to loud noises, she screams in Liz's ear just to torture her. The drunk leaves laughing, but Eve kicks in the door, sending the old ass to the floor. The hag panics, blaming the Duke for Liz's treatment. Eve, disgusted, takes Liz and dips. Maimori appears, rocking the Fly King's mask. Liz is terrified, so he tells them to head out while he handles things. The hag, thinking she's got the upper hand, threatens him, saying anyone who defies the Duke is screwed. She tells him to beg if he wants to live. Maimori already knew she was a problem, so he poisons her. Gasping, she pleads, saying he can still make things right. Maimori ain't interested. If she's going to hell, he's going with her. They take the sewers out of the city. Liz introduces herself as Lisbeth, a dark elf, and she's down to go find the Forbidden Witch. Even Piggymaru jumps in with an introduction. As they travel, Eve admits she trusts Maimori, even though they just met. He could play dirty for info, but he didn't. That's why she's on board. Reaching the hills, they spot two roots hot on their trail. Maimori wonders how the hell they got tracked. Eve mentions a guy named Mueji, leader of the Ashen gang. She tells Maimori and Ceres to take Liz and run, but Maimori tells her to chill. She can't take them all alone, champion or not. He hatches a plan, using their horses as a decoy to ditch the first group, but the Ashen gang keeps coming. Maimori tells Eve to hide with Liz while he and Ceres take on the sorcerers. Mueji peeps the setup and knows it's a damn trap, so he calls out whoever's lurking in the trees. Right on cue, Ceres steps out, flexing in her magic armor, but she's rocking a mask that's got Fly King vibes. That's got the sorcerers side-eyeing, wondering if she's one of their own. Mueji throws out a deal. Hand over Eve and the girl, and they'll let Ceres roll with his Shinto crew. But he keeps it real, warning that their curse magic is built different. No human, no matter how beefed up, walks away from it. Ceres plays along, saying she'll lead them to the girls, no problem. But Mueji ain't buying it. If she was really trying to sell them out, she'd have taken a couple of his guys and tried to drag the whole squad into the forest. That's way too sus. He calls it out, stopping his crew in their tracks. The sorcerers ain't playing either. They whip out their poison arrows and Mueji flexes, saying they're the descendants of the Assassin's Guild. Their poison, straight up lethal, cooked up by their ancestors, so deadly even the Black Dragon Knights couldn't walk it off. Ceres peeps their angle and asks what they're really after. That gets Mueji feeling himself, and he spills, Dukesuin, just a stepping stone. Their real goal? Taking over the whole damn country. He then tells Ceres to bring out all her homies, but she just smirks and says she's flying solo. Mueji cracks up, talking big like there's no way she can take all of them, even if she's built like a fantasy elf. That's when Ceres decides to drop the act. She rips off the mask, revealing she's the one who wiped out the Black Dragon Knights. Mueji ain't convinced. No way she's that strong. To back up his talk, he introduces Bergen and Vargen, two of the toughest blood fighters, meant to throw hands with Eve in her final battle. At the same time, another squad of sorcerers circles Ceres, cutting off any escape. Mueji, feeling cocky, tells Ceres to get on her knees. She plays along, but dude's already fantasizing about making half-dragon babies with her. Before things get any nastier, boom, bright-ass light flashes, and Maimori pulls up with Piggymaru, paralyzing the whole damn squad. Then he poisons them, laughing like this was his plan from the jump, leaving fake trails to bait them into Ceres. Mueji tries to call in reinforcements, but guess what? Maimori already folded them too. One by one, the sorcerers drop, and the trio dips back to Eve and Liz. Just when they think they're done, another group starts heading back. Maimori's about to let Piggymaru handle business, but the little slime's on cooldown. Eve ain't waiting though. She offers up her claws and launches herself straight at them. Right as she's about to catch some heat, Maimori freezes the enemies, then poisons them all. But the real problem? Duke's rolling up with his own squad. Maimori tries his paralysis trick, but he's hit the limit on targets, so he switches it up, drops a dark spell, blinds them all, and Eve starts chopping heads like she's running a medieval guillotine. Some knights try to dip, but Duke snaps, slicing one of his own guys for even thinking about running. Dude's lost it, screaming about killing the leopard first. Too bad he's the last one standing. He turns to run, but Maimori ain't letting that happen. One quick paralyze and Eve turns his head into a souvenir. With the Shinto group wiped out, Maimori goes full cleanup crew. He freezes their corpses and shatters them into nothing. No evidence, no questions, and the blame stays locked on Shinto forever. Word reaches Duke Jin, and that coward damn near pisses himself. Now he's barking orders, demanding his knights track down the group. Meanwhile, Maimori and the crew crash in a cave. Liz, being Liz, catches a glimpse of Ceres, assets, and suddenly she's got body envy, wondering if she'll develop grenades like those when she grows up. Ceres tells her to chill, dropping some wisdom about how even the old hag at the shop had nothing on her. Liz, satisfied for now, knocks out in Eve's lap. Ceres, being all motherly, tells Maimori to get some sleep too, even offering her lap as a pillow. Maimori, ever the Sigma, jokes that she should lay in his lap instead. She calls his bluff, and next thing he knows, she's resting on him. But then, something pokes her ear. She jumps up, face red, asking if this is a joke. Maimori just grins and admits it, making her even more flustered. Curious, he asks if he can touch her ears. She gives the okay, but the second he does, boom, she's in heaven, practically seeing stars. Maimori quickly backs off, apologizing for taking it too far. Then, in his usual deadpan way, he tells her she can dip whenever she wants. He's locked in on his revenge mission. Ceres sighs, lays back down, and Maimori casts a sleep spell to knock her out. Meanwhile, over in another part of the world, Nyan is training with Sogu. She's impressed but warns her not to let Vicious know. Du doesn't approve. Sogu asks why she's getting special treatment, and Nyan just shrugs, saying she reminds her of her little sister. The next day, Maimori's squad reaches the Golden Demon Zone. Towering trees, high-level monsters. This place is hell on earth, but also prime XP farming territory for heroes. Eve hands Maimori the map, showing the way to the Forbidden Witch. Elsewhere, in the alien kingdom, the goddess is rallying the hero squads. She's got some new challengers lined up to test them, all in preparation for the upcoming battle against the Demon Emperor. Meanwhile, Vicious tells Nyan that if she really wants to power up, it'll have to head to the Golden Demon Zone too. Shit's about to go down. Liz carries all the luggage on her back, prompting Ceres to ask if she is alright. Liz assures her that she is fine, emphasizing that she is part of the group and nobody should worry. Maimori and Eve respect her dedication, and they continue their journey to the Forbidden Witch. As they pass through tall grass, Eve suddenly hears movement nearby. A giant seaweed-headed lizard emerges, resembling the one Maimori had fought in the ruins. Without hesitation, he paralyzes and poisons the creature, quickly taking it down. As the lizard dies, Maimori pulls out a knife and starts cutting it open. Ceres watches him with suspicion, wondering what he is up to. Maimori shows her a book explaining that the seaweed tissue is an ingredient for a unique stone that can alter a person's voice. Ceres, pleased with the knowledge, accepts the book he offers. The group reaches a stream and Eve and Maimori converse about something privately. Liz attempts to cross the stream alone, but slips and falls in. Piggymaru quickly saves her before she is swept away. Curious, Liz asks what Eve and Maimori were discussing. Eve deflects the question by teasingly wondering what Maimori and Ceres' child would look like. The comment flusters Ceres, causing her to lose her balance and fall into the water as well. Maimori hands her his cloak, casually mentioning that it smells like him, an unintended temptation for Ceres. As they journey deeper into the demon zone, Eve suddenly freezes. A chilling realization dawns on her. The monsters that once drove her from the land of monsters are near. Maimori instructs her to stay back and hides behind a tree. Soon, two enormous lizards charge toward them. The moment they get within range, Maimori paralyzes them. These creatures, known as Nazats, are powerful enough to kill even the strongest warriors. Activating his Berserker spell, Maimori eliminates them instantly. He then pulls out his knife to extract a valuable ingredient. Eve initially assumes he plans to eat it, but he clarifies that it is an essential component for a potion that can strengthen slimes. Piggymaru, however, looks hesitant to consume it. Maimori reassures him, promising that the final potion will not taste unpleasant. Suddenly, an overwhelming aura fills the air, and no one can pinpoint its source. Piggymaru gestures toward Maimori's bag. When he opens it, the giant egg from Will's ruins begins to hatch. A bright red flash erupts, and a pony emerges. However, this is no ordinary horse. It possesses a magical stone capable of absorbing mana and enhancing its stats. Maimori instructs the others to stand back as he channels mana into the stone. After absorbing 1,000 mana points, the pony transforms into a magnificent black horse. Though it remains docile, it seems to crave more power. Maimori grants it another 10,000 mana points, triggering another transformation. The horse grows into a massive 8-legged beast. Observing its resemblance to Odin's legendary steed, Maimori names it Slay. Ceres approves of the name, but Slay immediately begins licking her, drenching her once again. Meanwhile, the hero's party is also in the demon zone. Takuto appears frustrated, his irritation evident. Oyamata questions his restlessness, and Takuto explains that the new heroes have been underestimating him. As the strongest hero from the outer world, he feels insulted that only weak monsters have been sent his way. That night, a trial begins. Unexpectedly, two Nezorites appear. Nyan and the other heroes manage to defeat them, but a much larger horde follows. Panic spreads through the group as they consider retreating, but Takuto steps forward. With a single attack, Draconic Buster, he annihilates the entire swarm. Flames blaze behind him as he stands confidently, yet no one acknowledges his feat. From afar, Maimori watches the scene unfold. When Ceres asks what's caught his attention, he mentions seeing a bright flash. He quickly realizes that the source of the flash aligns with the path leading to Alien's kingdom. The next morning, Ceres wakes up in a panic, finding Maimori missing. Eve calms her down, assuring her that he would never abandon them. When they step outside, they see him standing over the bodies of numerous slain monsters, including a rare human-faced beast known for being nearly impossible to kill. As they press forward, the terrain becomes increasingly difficult, preventing Slay from assisting. Maimori discovers a narrow path through the rocky landscape, urging the group to move quickly before the rain begins. Following his lead, they finally arrive at the cave that serves as the entrance to the Forbidden Witch's domain. Eve, relieved, expresses her gratitude to Maimori and Ceres for their help. Liz reminds her to also acknowledge Pigimaru and Slay. However, at that moment, a monster suddenly appears behind Eve. The attack comes without warning, giving them no time to react. Eve, relying on her heightened reflexes, swiftly eliminates the creature. A deep sense of unease washes over Maimori. Before he can voice his concern, the slain monster lets out a deafening scream, a call for reinforcements. Within seconds, countless creatures from across the demon zone begin converging on their location. The group stands frozen as the reality of the situation sinks in. This could mark the end of the Fly King's revenge. Eve blames herself for letting the monster get too close and offers to buy time for the team to escape. Liz panics, but Eve reassures her, telling her to follow Ceres and Maimori's orders. Maimori shuts that idea down, reminding her that none of them noticed the monster, so it's on them too. Plus, the witch gave Eve the map, meaning she's their only shot at reaching the Forbidden Witch. He pulls out the voice stone and orders the others to take shelter, leaving only him, Pigimaru, and Slay to face the incoming horde. Eve apologizes for her recklessness, and Maimori entrusts everything to Ceres if things go south. Ceres brushes it off, telling him to shut up and focus. Elsewhere, the heroes are getting trampled by the stampede. Nobody knows what's happening and panic sets in. Takuto realizes they aren't the real target. Kanya is about to be devoured when Kobato saves her, only to get knocked down herself. Kanya bails, leaving Kobato to die. As the monster lunges, she remembers Maimori, the first one they sacrificed. In the cave, Maimori pours mana into Slee, transforming him into Odin's horse. Pigimaru signals the charge. The monsters lock on, and Maimori asks his allies if they'd die for him. They refuse. But for the ladies, absolutely. Meanwhile, two heroes get stomped, and Sobu confronts Yasu for not helping. Yasu snaps, calling her out for acting righteous when those same heroes were the first to throw Maimori under the bus. Instant karma. Takuto rolls up, mocking Yasu for being weaker. Yasu claps back, pointing out Sogu doesn't even have a unique skill despite being S-rank, while a B-rank hunter like Asaji outclasses Oyamata. Yasu walks off, and Takuto tells Sobu to know her place. Sobu feels nothing but regret, until someone informs her Kobato is missing. Back at the cave, Eve insists she's the only one who can help. She knows the terrain has dark vision and can carry them back if things go bad. As vice captain, Ceres allows it. On the battlefield, Pigima returns the monsters berserk, making them slaughter each other. Maimori paralyzes the human-faced beast, but it's draining his mana too fast. His only shot, leveling up mid-fight. He targets the beast, exhausting his last ability to push himself over the edge. The instant he levels up, his mana and abilities reset. With renewed power, he commands Pigimaru to extend its tentacles, wiping out the monster. But two beasts remain, adapting to Maimori's attacks. He pivots, using the rain to leap off Slee, appearing behind them. A quick paralyze and berserk spell take them down, boosting his stats again. But the horde is endless. He starts slipping, spells overlapping, and Slay collapses under the chaos. Surrounded, Maimori unleashes everything. Meanwhile, Eve stumbles upon Kobato, who has just slain a monster. When Eve approaches, she notices Kobato looks eerily similar to Liz. Just as she reaches out, Itsuki attacks, mistaking Eve for a monster. Lightning shifter coils around Eve's throat. She recognizes them, heroes from the other world. But before she can react, Itsuki charges again. Liz is praying for her sister and Maimori to come back while Sarah's keeps her chill, telling her they'll be back for sure. Meanwhile, Itsuki is going crazy on Eve, her attacks getting sharper and deadlier every second. Right when she's about to slice Eve's throat, Hijiri jumps in and shuts that down, telling Itsuki that Eve ain't no demon, she's got human traits. Since Itsuki messed up her throat, Eve can barely get word out. Hijiri apologizes for her wild-ass sister and introduces herself. Eve's surprised at how chill these humans are, and she barely manages to say something back. Hijiri gets all excited recognizing Eve's name. She knows about the leopard blood fighter who ruled the Colosseum. Eve tells them she's looking for her master, so Hijiri wonders if this guy's even alive after the stampede. Eve keeps it real, saying her master is way stronger than anyone can imagine. Hijiri nods and tells her they can split up from here. Back on the battlefield, Piggymaru is done. Dude's straight up out of juice. Maimori tries to use him but gets nothing, so he goes old school and paralyzes the giant mammoth monster with his own damn hands before poisoning it. Slee's barely holding on and Maimori is beat to hell too. But at least all the monsters are wiped out, except Maimori senses someone still lurking. He calls out the hidden bastard, telling them to come out since he can't use his magic if he can't see them. This humanoid freak finally makes a move, but it's carrying a pile of dead bodies like a damn meat shield blocking Maimori's spells. Then it starts blasting magic beams from the sky like it's the final boss. Maimori and Slay take a hit and go down hard. The thing charges up again, kicking up a storm of dust, but Maimori sees his chance. He throws Piggymaru and his mask as bait, launches himself up using Slay and lands the paralysis strike. Poison follows and boom. Maimori jumps to level 2019 just like that. Slay reverts back, but one more wolf monster is left. Maimori's too messed up to fight, but he still stands trying to paralyze it. Before he can, Eve comes in like a damn executioner and splits the wolf in half. Maimori expected this and lets her handle the cleanup. She picks up Maimori, Slay, and Piggymaru, telling her master she found his classmates. Maimori asks if she dropped his name, but Eve didn't. Back at camp, Liz and Sarah's see them coming and lose their minds with relief. Sarah's is happy Maimori made it back, and he gives her props for holding things down. That night, Sarah's patches up his wounds while Eve keeps watch. Maimori, still hurting, struggles to sleep, so Sarah's offers her lap again. This is the moment, right? Some sweet clapping incoming. Nope. Maimori stays true to his Andrew Tate mindset and just chills in her lap without even sniffing the goods. They chat for a bit, and he finally knocks out. Sarah's tries to get up, but she trips, falling straight on top of him. Her heart's going nuts, and just when she's about to seal the deal, she stops herself. Maimori wakes up completely clueless about what just happened. Next day, the squad pushes deeper into the zone and stumbles on some magic seals, then a massive golem attacks. Maimori paralyzes it but doesn't poison it since it's just a guard dog. Then they finally reach the Forbidden Witch's house, only to find it empty. Eve spots a secret passage and they descend into the basement where a squad of golems is mining like clockwork. They slip through without a fight and reach a door blocked by a mana stone. Maimori knows this was a trap to drain an intruder's energy, but he's packing more mana than a damn power plant. Meanwhile, in the alien kingdom, Kobedo rolls up to the hero squad. Sogu is about to say what's up when Asagi rushes in and hugs her tight. She demands to know why Kobato was with the Takao's sisters, and Kobato casually says she just ran into them. Hijiri tells Itsuki she made the right call bringing Kobato back. Turns out the soldiers they found last night were planning to massacre Class C2. If that had gone down, Sobu would have snapped and everything would have gone straight to hell. Back underground, Eve finally cracks open the door and boom, a whole-ass hidden world is sitting under the basement. A house sits at the top and standing there is a woman Eve immediately recognizes. Maimori spots her too and can't help but let out a sinister-ass grin. He covers it with his hand, but inside he knows this is it. The Forbidden Witch Erika is right in front of him. And with her, the downfall of that goddess Vicious is finally about to begin.